G'day comrade subscribers. I thought we'd have another look at the Astra, and this is actually the box that it came in. I can barely fit it on. It's a rather large wooden box, if you can get some sort of sense of scale. Yeah, it just slides out like this. There's various bits of rubbish in here. Yeah, I don't think any of these are really. Well, it's probably got Spectrum stuff on it, but yeah, it looks like Spectrum software. Igra. So game. Anyway, so yeah, so that's the box it came in. Not bad. So I'm gonna try and repair it. Just, I guess, some wood glue, just to kind of stick everything back down again. But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping it. So let's have a look at the Astra itself. The reason why I thought we could have another look at it is because that came in the box. The one of the precious connectors, it's a RG1N-1 type connector. Kind of, I guess, although it does say something different on there, Astra 2N-1. So I guess it's their version of our DIN connector, perhaps. Not a DE, like a DE9 or a DB25 sort of thing, like a D sub connector. Maybe, I guess that's like what the Soviets used, because I've certainly never seen them use a DE9 or a DB25. So if you remember on the Astra, we've got, I think that's joystick, and that's TV, and that's block Britannia, so that'll be power supply, and that's magnetophone. So for the video output, we needed one of these connectors, which I didn't have. So it's like, oh, am I going to have to replace it? And you can see it is keyed, so you can't put it in the wrong way around. We've got in the middle we've got a little nib, and then on the bottom we've got two nibs. So you can see that matches up with that. So if we stick that into there, and it makes a very good connection. I don't know why they just didn't use DIN. Would have saved me some time. I would have been able to try powering it up before. But how was the keyboard connected? Oh, that's right, the keyboard's connected via a connector as well, so I can actually take it off. So yeah, so this was the machine with apparently a genuine Z80. And we've got our good KP type. The KP type. The KP or the KM? Okay, type capacitors with the silver and palladium in them. So it hasn't been ravaged. That's a reset. Okay, that's the joystick, I think. So let me just get the screws out of here. So yeah, I don't know what the RGB pinout is. How am I going to do this? Power's easy because it's just 5 volts in, so that's not a problem. Well, I can tell which one's RGB because we've got trim pots. We've got trim pots there for the RGB, so I'll be able to tell the RGB signals on this. I think the reason why they use this is because there's no speaker, so this includes sound as well. But yeah, so it's just a matter of RGB, which I can figure out. Then there will be composite sync, ground, and I'm assuming sound. So it shouldn't be too difficult to figure out. I'll probably just try putting it into this board here. So just use the good old RGBS connectors that I've got. Wide up to that, or maybe I'll do a socket. Let me have a think. I've made a very simple power cable, just 5-pin DIN to 2.1mm, so I can just plug it into my my bench supply. So that's the block Britannia. So this the TV, the video output, is interesting because it's an 8-pin socket. We've got 6 wires connected to a 5-pin DIN. So yes, obviously they're using the sheath for ground. Okay, so that takes care of one. And so yeah, so this is pretty much the pin out. So I'm not sure what's on pin 1 of the connector. I assumed it was sync because it's this. So we've got RGB trim pots here, so that's pretty simple. RGB. So that's those wires there. And then we've got this one here. So I thought, okay, maybe that's composite sync or, you know, composite video. So that goes to pin 1, but that's not actually connected in here to this. So that's not being used. Pin 8 is obviously ground down here. So what else have we got? We've got this one, this wire over here. So that's pin 6. That's pin 6 on that. So that goes to the pin 3 on the DIN. And then pin 7. Pin 7's in there. And that's not connected in the DIN either. So pin 1 and pin 7 aren't actually connected in the DIN. So let's just ignore those. So that means that one of them's going to be sound and the other one's going to be sync. So there's this one here. Now that's ground. So there's that one there. So that could be maybe. So that's pin 5, which is connected to DIN pin 5. And then 6. 5, 6. Yeah, this one over here near the power. So, yeah. But if there's composite video out, and that's obviously the simplest one to use rather than wiring up all the RGB, just to see if it's actually working or not. So I might try that. Yeah. After some poking around, I think this might be the pin out. So pin 1 seems to have maybe 5 volts. It's measuring at 3.8 volts. So maybe that's 5 volts. That's why it's not connected. RGB, that's pretty easy because that's the ones connected up to the trim pots. I think pin 5 might be the sync. Pin 6 might be sound. Pin 7, I don't know. It is connected on the board, but it's not connected in here. And pin 8 is ground. So I've made up a quick RGBS cable. And let's see what happens. Okay, don't need to worry about keyboard at the moment. Start recording. Power on. And surprise! It doesn't work. The sync's a bit off as well, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Is it getting the sync? Yeah, it's a bit. It was about 15 kilohertz sync. It was basically a 15 kilohertz signal coming out of that. That's why I thought it was the sync. That does not look too good at all. Where to start? Now, let me stop that. There's no point looking at that. Right, so this is a bit of a different machine, this one. What have we got? So we've got a Z80, genuine Z80. It looks like that's socketed. We've got 2 ROMs, so they'll be 8K each. We've got the DRAM over here, 64K of DRAM. But what's different on this machine is we've got these small ROMs here. I think these are 1024 bit, so 256 by 4 bits, so 256 nibbles. And this one here I think is 256 bit, 32 by 8. So they're obviously there for some sort of, you know, state machine, or I guess, or something like that. So, you know, input comes in, there's a defined output for whatever the input is, so that way they can cut down on components, I guess. Yeah, but I guess that's a pretty standard failing Spectrum screen. But I'm not too good at fixing Spectrums, as you might have noticed. I don't know, like for these caps here, some of them are kind of touching. Well, I don't know, maybe we do have a coat. It looks like actually we do have a coating. It does look like there is some sort of coating on the circuitry, so I don't think there should be any faults happening. But what I'll do is I'll reseat what I can. So the Z80, the 2 ROMs, and one of these little mini ROMs. And otherwise I need to track down the schematic to have an idea. I've done some simple checks, so removing the ROMs makes no difference. It's exactly the same pattern on the screen. I've tried replacing the Z80, no difference. I've done some simple checks on the DRAM. Pin 2 and pin 4, which is the input output, are all tied together on the circuit board, so I can't really check if there's a short between them. But I've checked, say, pin 2 to ground, and it's about 500-600 ohms for each one. So I'm going to have to do some work on this, unless you guys can help me. I do have the schematics, links are in the description. Apparently it's like the Baltic, except that the M ROM has the address A0 to A3 around the other way. Otherwise, apparently it's quite like the Baltic. That's the keyboard connector there. So yeah, so I'm not really sure where to start with this one. Like I said, I've tried putting the diagnostic ROM in, no difference. So it's something pretty fundamental, maybe with the RAM, but say I've done a simple check on the RAM and it looks okay. I also did put the oscilloscope on the input output and it looked okay. So nothing obvious unless I start pulling out RAM, I guess. So yeah, I'll need to do some research on this one. So unfortunately this one's going to be added to the queue of things I need to work on. Sorry about that.